Welcome to the Wireless LAN News Desk for the week of March 30th, 2018. My name's Tom Carpenter. I'm the CTO at CWNP. And this week for the News Desk, what I want to do is take a little bit of time and explain to you our basic process of certification development here at CWNP. So we don't just throw together a set of objectives out of one single mind and from there build exam items and learning materials and so forth. Instead, we have a process that we go through. And what we've done this last week here in Las Vegas is we've performed what is called a job task analysis for both CWDP and CWAP. We brought 6 or 7 subject matter experts together for each of these 2 certifications and performed the JTA this week. The goal of a JTA is to define the job role of this certification candidate. So this certification is validating that you can perform a particular job role, like a wireless designer or a wireless analyzer. And so what we want to do is define that job. Then, once we've defined the job basically, we break it into its many components, its various responsibility areas or task groupings, you might say, and then the individual tasks and possibly even task elements, which could be subtasks or tools or thoughts that are required to be able to perform the task. So we go through all of that process, and then we loop back with our full lists of tasks and tools and thinking processes and refine the job description to bring clarity and clearness to it and to make sure that we've covered things appropriately at the high level. This information is then fed into the development of the objectives. So the objectives include knowledge domains. The knowledge domains come from these key groupings of tasks that we've defined in the JTA. We determine the percentage of the knowledge domains based on the rating of importance for these various tasks that the subject matter experts have defined. Once the knowledge domains are defined, we can break them into the individual objectives and sub-objectives that need to be understood. The point is that job task analysis results in a document set that gives us a description and an exhaustive list of tasks, tools, and thinking processes that are actually needed to perform the job role. The objectives document is built from that so that we know what you need to learn to be able to perform those tasks, use those tools, and implement those thinking processes. So this is why the process exists. And by getting the subject matter experts together like this, you get multiple minds to make sure you're covering all the bases and you actually have the information covered in that exam objective set that needs to be there. Once we have the objectives from there, we build exam items that are actually part of the exam that you take to acquire the certification. Also from those objectives, we build learning materials, study guides, e-learning, practice exams, courseware. All of this comes out of those objectives, reflecting continually back on the job role. So for example, if an objective says that you need to determine the signal strength from an AP, well, we're not going to use a very simple tool that just gives us 4 bars, are we? We're not at that level with a professional exam. We want a tool that tells us the signal strength in dBm. So that's the level that we need to be at. And we'll build those materials from that. Now, here's the great news. We're going to be working hard over the next 3 or 4 months, and you will see a new version of CWDP and CWAP before our conference in October. In fact, several weeks before our conference in October. At the conference in October, the CWDP and CWAP classes will be the brand new courses that have been developed based on the JTAs that we've performed this past week in Vegas. So I wanted to just give you that information to let you know how we go through this process at a high level. And that's the news for this week from the Wireless LAN News Desk. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe below, and I'll see you next week.